What up, what up, what up, what up? You tuned into the Jose Morales podcast where we talk sports, business, and everything in between. I am your host, Jose Morales, and we're at my boxing academy. Joining me in the ring today is someone very special, my brother Eddie Eric Andrade.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So Eddie is probably one of the persons, there's a lot of people, but this is probably one of the biggest influencers and really saved my life to be where I am today. And it started as a kid. So without this guy here, I probably would not be here. And you play a big part of it. Did you know that? You played a big part of my life like that?
Well, I'd like to say that God is the one that saved you.
Yeah.
But he used me as a vessel to do so. So all the glory to God for that.
Yes. But did you know that? Did you know that you saved my life? Did you know that?
No, I don't think I ever really understood to that extent anyway.
Yeah.
I knew we were having fun. I knew we were having fun and just kicking it and hanging out. But
yeah. So yeah, I was pretty. We'll get into that. I never really told anybody, but I'll get into it with you. But we're gonna talk about we're gonna talk about God. We're gonna talk about gangs, and we're gonna talk about business, your business, life, family. So we're gonna talk about all those things. But first, before I start talking about all that, I'm gonna let you guys know who this guy is, because you guys are probably like, "Who is he? Who is he?" I want to know who he is. He is one of those. What did you tell me that lady called you?
I've been called a unicorn.
Yeah, unicorn. Yeah, the lady called you a unicorn because this guy does not have no social media. You're not gonna find him on Instagram. You're not gonna find him on Facebook. You're not gonna see him anywhere. Not even on the. You won't find him. He's
nothing.
He's an alien. He's not from here. He's from another planet. So, if those that have been in the gym, he has the logo on the canvas, and also if you've ever paid attention on the fight shirts, his logo's on there. On Davis trunks when he's fighting, his logo's on there. It says A Visions Technology, and A Visions Technology is his business. Tell us a little bit about A Visions Technology, what it is and what you do.
Well, we are. I'm a licensed contractor, so it's a business in the electrical industry. We mainly do basically just utility construction. So we build the utility lines, aerial, underground. Got into that niche probably about 4 or 5 years ago. And before
he's
that,
the guy building the 5G towers. You know how all those people tripping balls about 5G? This guy is the one who put them up. Nah.
not really the 5G towers, but
I'm joking.
I
was just dying. I had to say that because right now people are going nuts over that. On YouTube.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh no, 5G, we're gonna die. And I already told you. How do you get rid of 5G?
Yeah.
Don't use your phone.
Don't use your phone.
Don't use your phone.
Don't get a 5G phone.
Yeah. And what's the chance of people doing that? That ain't gonna happen.
So
then quit complaining that they're building it, because we're the ones asking for it.
Yeah.
Demanding it. Anyways, we're getting off subject. So that's what you do. This guy is from the beginning, he's always supported the business. And I wanted to say this. I don't know if you remember this, but when I first got the gym, he came in. I remember it was like my second week in business. He came in, signed his wife up, got gear, got all this, and never once came. Never once came. Not once. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, had to come and show the love, though.
Yeah, and that's what I think about now. I'm like, he didn't do it because he wanted to box or because he wanted to work out. He did it because he was just showing love. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And things like that is like, man, I don't forget things like that. I don't forget things. And I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but all that love you showed me throughout your entire life, day in, day out, is still to this day, is something that it will forever be in my heart, and I will forever be thankful for you for all that. And I love you to death for things like that, little things like that you do. Very genuine, just a good person. You've always set the example for me to what to be like as a man and as a person and as a human. And thank you for that. Eddie. I think you deserve credit, and people need to know that you're doing that. And I'm gonna be the one to tell them because you definitely affected my life.
Well, you know, I love you, hermanito.
For real.
You
So,
know, I love you, man.
Back to the story. The reason why I wanted to bring this up, the main subject, what I wanted to talk about, before I had to mention why we're so connected. We're brothers. His mom and my mom are first cousins. They grew up together. My mom and his mom were like best friends growing up. So not only were they cousins, my mom left to Guadalajara together with his mom. They grew up in the same, everything together. They were best cousins, right? And so as kids, we grew up together, side by side, fought each other. We were known as Diablitos.
Los Diablitos,
The
yeah.
little devils. We
Little
would
devils.
fuck everything up, mess everything up. We were just all about trouble.
Yep.
The good old times. This is where our brotherly, bond grew from, is that we were together all the time. And he was always playing sports, doing this, and I saw his trophies. I saw everything that he was doing, and I was like, damn, that's tight. Actually, I never even played any sports. You were the one I wanted to do. I saw you always getting trophies. Like, shit, I need to give me some of those. And I didn't get to start playing sports until high school. But you were that one that was always keeping that fire lit for me, that, man, I want to do that one day. So, but anyways, that's our history as far as how we were connected. Later on, it was during, what age did you move to Idaho? How old were you?
I was just getting ready to enter the 8th grade.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he lived here in Sacramento, California. He moved to Idaho with his dad.
Yep.
And you lived there for 2 years, you said? 3 years?
Yeah, it was about 2.5 years. So I left like in the summer leading up to 8th grade, and then came back late summer, end of 9th grade.
Yeah.
End of freshman year in high school. Yeah.
And I think this one made a big drastic change, Freddie. Do you think it changed you going to Idaho? Because I think you did.
It did. It made a big change. That's where God got a hold of my heart.
Yep.
Where He got a hold of my life.
And this is where, because look, before he left, him and I were over here messing everything up. Anything that came in across our way, we were tearing it up. From beating people up to beating our sisters up, because we both hated our older sisters.
Yeah.
A fun fact too: those that seen Dina in the gym, Dina is their brother and sister. So this is the clique right here. Dina's the one that actually makes all our posters for our fights. You see her in the gym; she's always laughing. Good girl.
Yep.
If she's not laughing, she's on her way to get Dutch Bros. It's one or the other.
Yep. Yep.
But anyways, during that time when you left to Idaho, those 2-3 years that you were gone, and then you came back. I remember when you came back, it was like a whole nother Eddie. To me, it was. I was like, "What the hell happened to Eddie? Where's the Eddie I remember?" Because now Eddie was all about God. He converted. He gave his God. You gave your heart to the Lord.
Yep.
You were no longer the Eddie that I had remembered prior to leaving.
Yep.
What happened there? Tell me what happened. How did God come in your life?
Well, at first it wasn't, it was just me. I wanted to get to know who my dad was. Didn't really know him much at all through childhood. Had some memories here and there. And when he was in prison, he would send little pictures, they would make little crafts in prison.
Oh yeah, I remember those. Remember that one, that blue one he made that was a square?
It was like
I'll
a
never
cube.
forget that.
Yes, it's like a picture holder.
Yeah.
I
always thought that was cool. I'm like, damn, your dad is sending you tight ass stuff.
Yeah. So that was really kind of the main thing. And my mom, I think she kind of saw, what was happening in my life at the time, and the people that I was starting to hang around with.
What was happening?
And it was just, I was starting to hang out, with more gangbangers, in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Over there back behind the Sunrise Mall.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And obviously the people that would come over, from Sayonara and whatnot. So my mom, she was like, she's like, hey, you're going to go live with your dad, and I was like,
that's probably the best decision she made. For real.
Yeah, no, it was all, God's timing. I mean, God was definitely over that situation. Even before I knew him, right? He knew me. You know what I'm saying? So I go up there, and I'm starting to get to know my dad, and he would start taking me to church. He'd be like, "Hey, let's go to church," and I was like, the only church I knew growing up was
Catholic churches.
Huh?
Catholic churches.
Yeah, it was a Catholic church here and there. That our moms would take us to. It was mainly like quinceañera parties and stuff like that.
That's typical Catholic.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Yep. Once or twice a year.
Yeah. Easter, Christmas, and quinceañera, baby. There's a wedding that you're lucky.
At least in the Hispanic culture, anyway, right? That's kind of how that works out. But he wanted me to go to church with them, and I was like, okay, well, what is that? So we go, and he takes me, and it was a Pentecostal church, so it was real funky for me at first because I would see, the full on like Pentecostal, service. You're going like 2-3 hours long, right?
Damn.
Sometimes 4 hours deep.
Yeah, because the Catholic one is quick. It's 40 minutes, 45. You kneel down, stand up, kneel down, stand up, you go home.
And you're out. Yeah. Yeah, you go about your business. But no, it was like 2, 3, 4 hours deep sometimes. And then it was like, and then people were speaking in tongues, I mean, it was getting buck wild. And I'm like, what the heck is this? I'm like, Dad, where the heck did you take me to, man? I'm like, what the heck did you join? I'm like, what is this? So I ignored it.
He said, what the heck?
So I ignored it for the longest time. I was like, so 8th grade, all my 8th grade year, I go to school and be a hooligan. It was kind of a culture shock for me because when I went there, when I was going to 8th grade in Idaho, in this a small town called Caldwell, Idaho, there was maybe I don't know, maybe 10 Hispanics, 10 to 15 Hispanics, and then the rest of them were white. You know what I'm saying? Just, but there's a couple Native Americans too, but there was no black people, not a single black person, not a single one, right?
You said the only one, there was a black person who was playing basketball for Utah State.
For Boise State.
Yeah, Boise State. Yeah, that's what he told me.
Yeah. If any black person was there, it was because they had gotten a scholarship to like Boise State on the football or basketball team. So
that's how you came across God for the first time, church. It was Pentecostal.
Yeah.
So how did
Pentecostal church.
How did you get connected to it? Like, what drew your interest? If you thought it was so weird at the beginning, how did you finally?
Well, the only way it was going to work was if God got a hold of my heart.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because it was all weird to me, right? It was all funky. But it actually came to be after my towards the end of my 9th grade year, my freshman year in high school. I went to a service, and before that, I was friends with this one other guy that was there. And that was really the only reason I would go is because him and he was the pastor's kid. He was one of the pastor's kids. There was a couple pastors there. And my uncle, mi tío Ambrosio, was, which is a cousin on my dad's cousin. He was the pastor of the church. And, but then there's other pastors on staff. Well, anyway, one of that other pastor's sons, him and I would always cause trouble, in church. We'd always, be distracting people and just being stupid, And, but one day, it was like a healing service, like a, kind of a healing thing that they were doing. And I was just sitting there, I was just waiting for it to be over. But, I had, seen, it was a guy that, had gone up and given his testimony, about being a former homosexual, right? And
former.
Yeah,
I'm a former.
Yeah, he was gay, and then he completely changed and had a family and the whole deal. And it was kind of strange to me. I was like, huh, that's kind of weird, right?
I don't know if you can be a former. I'm still stuck on the word former.
Well, that's what happens when God gets a hold of your heart, man.
I don't know, man.
It changes your life.
Suck dick once, man.
No.
Back.
No, I'm saying, man, that's what God does, man.
All right, keep going. I'm gonna act like I didn't hear that. So yeah, you hear this story, and then what happened?
But besides that, there was that guy that gave that testimony, and then there was another guy who went up there and had an issue. He always had to wear like these crutches, right? And I always seen him with these crutches. Always seen him with these crutches. And he goes up to get prayed over for healing. And this homeboy, after they're done praying, this homeboy gets up and starts doing laps around the church with no crutches. And it tripped me out, bro. I'm being honest, man. You know me, man. I'm straight up. I'm a straight shooter. You know what I'm saying? And so that kind of really opened my eyes in a way where I was like, and then it all started clicking. Because, you know, I had noticed the difference in my dad, right? He wouldn't drink. It was like, it just all started clicking at once. Like, oh man, like there's something to this. You know what I'm saying? So that night I go home, and my dad had given me this Spanish Bible. It was a Spanish Bible, and it was a blue one, and it was always there. I just never read it, And that night I went home, and I was like, there was something in me. I was like, a feeling of like, I need to read it. Like, I need to know who this God is that just, healed this guy that was walking in all the time with crutches, always needed help to sit down, to get up. You know what I'm saying? He had like a defect in his leg. And,
so you saw this guy for a long time?
I seen this guy, yeah.
For a long time?
For like the couple years, yeah, that I was living there.
So for a couple of years, you saw him there, needing help standing up?
Needed help.
So this wasn't a guy that just got some crunches in the back?
No. This was for real.
Okay.
That's why I was tripping. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why it got my attention so much. And but like I said, everything else started clicking. Like, oh man, there's something to this, because my dad started changing, and then all of a sudden, I see this, and it just. So anyway, I go home, I actually started reading the Bible, and I must have stayed up till maybe 2 or 3 in the morning just reading the Bible, like just trying to figure out like, okay, who is this God? Like, who is he? You know what I'm saying? Like, has he done this before? So I'm reading, from Genesis, just going all the way through, and I end up praying that night before I go to bed, and I was like, it's just like the Holy Spirit got a hold of my heart, and I said, all right, Lord, I'm gonna give you a shot. I seen you change my dad's life. I just saw some crazy stuff at the church. This has to be real. There's got to be truth to this. So the very next day, it was such a drastic transformation. I mean, when the Holy Spirit gets a hold of your heart, it's such a drastic transformation. You want to get rid of everything. You want to completely change your life. It's just this feeling that, it's like God, everything just begins to make sense, right? Everything begins to click, like everything in life led up to this moment. You know what I'm saying? Of getting to know who the creator of the universe is, right? And that he put us here for a purpose greater than us. And so I go to school the next day, and I had a girlfriend, and we would always be doing stupid stuff,
doing the nasty,
going to the movies, and she didn't even want to. We go into the movie theater, and she was like, her name was Jessica, and she was like,
let's go to the house.
Yeah, no, she was like, let's just go to the top. As soon as we go into the movie theater, she's like, let's just go to the top and go make out, and get frisky. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, nasty.
Yeah. Well,
good old times.
Once God got a hold of my heart, I felt convicted of those things. I felt convicted, like, man, we probably shouldn't be doing that. Like, this is somebody's daughter. They don't even know she's doing this, right? And so the next day I go to school, and everybody knew at school that we were dating, right? Because I was in sports. I was a jock. I was a soccer player. I mean, I was on the varsity team as a freshman. You know what I'm saying? So and she was a cheerleader. I believe she was a cheerleader, and also she played soccer as well, I think. But anyway, so everybody at school knew us, and then when I broke up with her, she started crying. Everybody's tripping on me like, hey, bro, why'd you break up with her, man? I can't believe you. You're so stupid. And I said, because, man, God changed my heart. And then when I told her that, she started crying. She's like, why didn't you just tell me that? She's like, we could have started going to church together. I was like, what you mean going to church together? And she's like, yeah, I've been raised in church my whole life. She's like, I've been going to youth group. She's like, I've been raised in church my whole life. And I was like, dang, man. I was like, and you never once said anything to me about Jesus? I was like, sounds like you got to get some stuff straightened out yourself, So anyway, yeah, that's, after that, it was just like full bore. I was just reading the Bible every day, just studying, man. And it just, and then, so that was towards the end of my freshman year in high school, right? And I had a decision to make at that point, right? It was like, okay, I'm either going to stay here and be here, right? Or, the people that kept coming to mind, was my sisters, was Paco and Edgar and Bianca and everybody over there, and Casey. Remember Casey, right? Everybody who I loved, who were, the closest to me, you know what I'm saying? Just kept popping in my head, like, they got to know the truth. They got to know this truth. They got to know this truth. They got to know God. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so I told my dad, I said, hey, I'm going to move back to California with my mom. And he was like, okay,
And that's when you came back.
And that's when I came back. Yeah.
Yeah. And that during that time, for me, this is why I tell you it changed my life. During that time, I was at a point where I don't know, I felt like this always in my life, that if you're Mexican, you pretty much get assumed to be in a gang right away. Mm-hmm. Like there's no ifs, buts about it. You're either that or you're this. You can't just be a normal guy going to school.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're right away. You're either with them or with them. Yeah. So when I was in school, and this was at this time, where I was at, I was super, super close to, like, because where I lived in my neighborhood, I was around all the Southern Mexicans. All the Southern Mexicans lived in my neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All of them. Yep. But when I went to school and when I rode the bus, I didn't connect with the Southern Mexicans because I was not from LA. That's just who I wasn't. I'm like, I'm from Northern California. I'm like, I'm not going to be over here banging on Southern California, banging the South and being all this. So for me, I would have funk with the Southerners because of that. But then the Northerners didn't like me because I lived in the Southern hood where all the Southerners lived in the school. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. This was going on when you were in Idaho. This is before you got in Idaho. This is what was going on in my life. So I'll get on the bus with a whole bunch of Southerners, show up to school. And the school I went to was an ESL, so it's all Mexicans, bro. Yeah. Everybody. It's English second language. It's all immigrants, bro. Yeah. And I get out of the school. I'm walking through, and I get off the Southern bus, bro. Everyone on my bus is a Southerner. So all the Northerners fucking hated my ass. Right away, they're like, oh, that fool's a fucking scrap. Yeah. Start talking smack to me. So now I didn't like them because of that. I was like, man, these fools are... And I never liked the word scrap because to me, the reason why I never liked that word is where it originated from. It originated of being a scrap, like a leftover. Be pretty much saying when they crossed the border and they got here, these are all leftovers. Yeah. And that's where the Southerners came from. That's why they call it that. So to me, I took it offense because it's the whole crossing the border, the immigration, not because of that. So I always hated that word. I just didn't like hearing anyone being called that. Yeah. And then, and so for me, I was always, I was never in bond with any of them. Neither of them liked me. I had friends on both sides, but neither of them liked me. And I had funk with that all the time. So when I was in school, the only ones that would somewhat back me up are the dudes that lived next to me, the dudes that lived upstairs, the dudes that lived next to me. And these were all Southerners.
Yeah.
So anytime I got beat up, I got jumped or something, the Southerners backed me up because they were my neighbors. I had friends that were Northerners that loved me because I was a Kings fan. Kings always connect very well with the Northerners because Southerners usually Lakers.
Yep.
Northerners are usually Kings fans. So, and I've always been a Kings fan, so they always like me because of that. And another reason I didn't really connect with them is because Northerners, for the most part, at least in my neighborhood, didn't really speak too much Spanish. Northerners usually spoke more English. Mm-hmm. Southern, I didn't speak that good of English, bro. So my English to be around them was not the. I tend to because I'm Mexican, bro. I'm first generation Mexican.
Yeah.
So I tend everything to match to be a Southerner. I just wasn't down with the Lakers and I wasn't down with LA. So I said no. No. But anyways, so this was going on in my life. This is where we start. I was fighting both. I was literally fighting a Northerner one day. Next day I'm fighting a Southerner because they saw me doing this. I was dating a girl that her family is all Northerners. And all her family hated my ass. She hated anyways, it was just thing after thing, right?
Yeah.
And it got to a point where my boy went to a party, and that boy that went to the party was my close ass friend. All these Northerners that wanted to kick my ass or whatever were there, saw him. Someone said, "Oh, that's Jose's homie." They thought they said, "Hey, that's Jose." And they went up and grabbed him, beat the fuck out of him, put guns to him. They're about to kill this guy. Literally about to kill him at a party, bro. They pistol up him. They were about to shoot him. And they were like, "Yo, this is not even Jose, bro. I told you that's Jose's friend." And my boy's fucking getting his ass kicked, bro, on the floor. And then he comes up to me. He comes up to my house. You remember he shows up to my house, knocks on my door. He's like, "Hey," he's all, "I don't know what you did to them motherfuckers, but they almost killed my ass because they thought it was you." they almost killed my ass because they thought it was you.
Wow. So
this was the shit that was going on with me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then during this time, here comes fucking Eddie back from Idaho. and you pop up in my life, right?
Yeah.
And when you show up in my life, the memories that I had with you is our childhood memories.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I was already so connected with you. I loved you to death. You know what I mean? And you start talking all this God shit to me. I'm like, what the fuck is that? What you mean God, bro? Like, come on, bro. Where the hell this come from?
Yeah.
And me personally, I'll be real. I was like, nah, I'll give him a couple months. He'll forget about it.
Yeah.
Give him a year. He'll forget about it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's literally what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
And I cannot believe it's been, I don't know how many years, your ass is still the same way. This guy does not cuss, does not drink, does not smoke, does not anything. And he knows his shit like no other. Like he is the definition of a person that is a true man of God. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And this is where your example, the way you let that drew me to it, because I saw how you were about it. And I saw how you were at, and that's when I gave my heart to the Lord. And then when I gave my heart to the Lord during that time period, I started distancing myself from everybody in the gang violence.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
All those dudes, even my neighbors, everything. I just started distancing myself. And that's when I got into boxing. And then it was boxing in church.
Yep.
Boxing in church.
Yep.
And that's what I mean by it saved my life. Because if that would have never happened, I almost got killed. My friend almost got killed because they thought it was me.
Yeah.
2 months prior to that.
Yeah.
And now this happened. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so that right there, just that happening really changed me. I actually later on, and another thing that changed me, the fact that I changed my high school. I went to your high school.
Yeah. Just
to kick it with this guy because we didn't grow up in the same neighborhood. I never went to school with him ever.
Yeah.
Never. And I changed. I went to Mesa for you because you were at Mesa.
Yeah.
I wasn't even supposed to go to Mesa.
Yeah.
I went there because you were there.
Yeah.
But that was probably the best decision ever because it completely just took me away from my neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It took me, when I went to Mesa, I had nobody. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anybody at all. So it made me start fresh. New friends, people that didn't know me, didn't know my background, didn't know anything about me. And I got there expecting to hang out with fucking Eddie, and this guy has a girlfriend, bro. This guy has a girlfriend. And not once did we hang out.
Big mistake, man.
Not once did we hang out. My freshman year, he was a senior. Not once did we hang out because he was with his damn girl the whole damn time.
That was a big mistake, man. But to this day, and you know, man, you and I had a conversation about it before, but I would say, you know, just even how all that kind of turned out, you know, between me and that girl. My senior year in high school. I mean, it was just a big mistake all the way around. All it did was literally just took up my time away from being able to hang out with you. Yeah, you know,
that's cool though. You live and learn.
You know,
I don't blame you, bro. It's cool because it saved me. I made new friends. That had nothing to do with gangs. I made new everything. So I made new friendships, which was good. So it was actually a good thing for me.
Yeah.
So don't feel bad about it, bro. It's cool.
Yeah.
You get yours, baby.
It was a big mistake, man. No, I mean, like I said, it's one of those things, man, where, you know, I mean, God had gotten a hold of my heart, you know, but at the same time, you know, I'm not perfect and I got distracted, you know, and, you know, it was all bad, man. It was a waste of time all the way around. I mean, you know, to be honest, the whole reason I even got with that girl was because I was good friends with her brother. We were on the same soccer team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then I somehow ended up finding out through the grapevine. I think it was a different friend, a mutual friend that her and I had that was like, hey, this girl kind of likes you, da-da-da. And oh, it's Eric's sister. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, well, I can't diss him like that.
I can't not say no.
I can't diss him. So at the beginning, it was literally just being friends, right? But I mean, it took up too much of my time, man.
It's cool. Don't beat yourself up for it. But anyways, you took me away from where I was at. It was good. You ended up graduating. I ended up staying there, and it was cool. It was good. I think it was the best high school for me as far as staying sane away from, not staying sane, that's not the correct word, but staying in a good path without easily distracting and starting falling apart.
Yeah.
So it was good. It was actually really good for me. But the reason why I bring this up, so during that time period, I think there was a solid year in my life where I was really big on church, no cussing. I didn't cuss. It was during that time. I didn't cuss. I was doing everything that I could. You remember?
No,
I was doing good.
I remember, bro, the day that you gave your heart to the Lord, bro. We were sitting in your room.
Yeah,
bro, you straight busted up every Tupac CD.
Oh yeah. And I was like, bro, I changed everything
that night, bro. And I knew, bro. I knew what was happening because I was there too, right? I knew that the Holy Spirit was getting a hold of your heart, bro.
Yeah,
I knew it because I had been through the same exact. I was like, man. And that night, remember that night, you know, or I don't know if it was that night or a few nights after, you were like, hey, man, I want to get baptized.
Oh, yeah.
And
so I went hard about it, bro.
Yeah.
I went hard. And then I actually later on, I don't think you know this, but I got later on like really turned down by religion and church and everything. And there was a point, I think when I was like early 20s where I was like, there's no God. I became like an atheist, bro. Like I fucking hated anything to do with anything with God.
Yeah.
And the reason why I became that way is because I would go to church or something and then I see how people were.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then I'm like, bro, this is fake ass shit, bro. Like da 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 da. Or it's always money, it's always this. And I was like, fuck that. I don't want nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't want anything to do with that. It's fake. I don't want to do with it. And then I started judging God off what people were doing in church, which really isn't right, but that's what I started doing.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, you know what, I don't want nothing to do with it. Fuck all that. And for a long period of my time I had like a strong belief that there was no God, there was no nothing.
Yeah.
I made myself believe that. And I never went to church or nothing. I let it be. It slowly came back little by little where I was like, I just feel it in my heart, bro. Like I'm being blessed, bro. I'm blessed in so many ways. I got a beautiful family. I got everything. You know, it's like, bro, this is too good for me not to have for not be. I mean, like this is crazy. And that's when I just started like praying and stuff like that. But now I just feel like I don't think religion necessarily is like is a correct word, because I don't really believe in like going to church and all these things. I don't know. That's just me. That's just how I am. I just believe, like, I believe in God. I pray. I give thanks. Yeah. But as long as you're a good person and you're a good, you know what I mean? You're good doing good things. You're not being a dick. You're not going over there being a bad person. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's good, bro. I mean, that's just how I feel. That's how I am. You know what I mean? I'm doing everything. I'm not going around preaching. I'm not going around reading the Bible to people. Yeah. But I'm being a good person, and I'm trying to make positive impact on people's lives. And as long as I could do that, because that's what happened to me, and someone saved my life like that, and I could do that same God work like that, that's just how I am. I don't know if there's a right way to look at it, but that's what makes me happy and keeps me going every day.
Well, everybody's at a different point in their process of sanctification. You know what I'm saying? We're always going to be working. It's always going to be, you know, we're never just going to get there. You know, nobody's perfect. Everybody's at a different point in their walk with God. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And, you know, just remember that it's God that saved your life that day.
Yeah, for sure.
God is the one that saved your life that day. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, and I just, you know, I'm blessed and honored that he chose me to be able to, you know, have, you know, such a amazing little brother that.
No, you made a huge impact.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure, you made a big impact. What? Tell me now. What I wanted to talk about your business. So when I was with you on the mountains and we were doing everything, I think I told you this. The thing that I love the most about your business and what you do is how precise and how much pride you take into every job you're doing. Yep. You know what I mean? Yep. Every little thing you do, you make sure is perfect and it's to the T. It don't matter how much time it takes. You make sure it's exactly how it's supposed to be. What do you? That's what I think it's amazing about it. What do you think your company? What makes you're being hired different than all the other companies?
Well, first and foremost, God, bro. You got to have God in the business, man. God is if you don't have the foundation right, don't matter what you build on top of it, it's going to come down. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you put it in a lot of different places. I mean, you put it on the shirt, you put it on the logo. Yeah. You do for sure give glory to God in everything you do.
Yep. That's got to be number one. That's got to be number one. That's the foundation. And then on top of that, you know, it's just working hard.
Yeah, you're a good leader.
Working hard.
I told you you're a good leader that day because you're there and you're actually grinding. You know what I mean? You're there and you're helping them. Yeah. You're making their job easier. You're not sitting back just telling everybody what to do.
Yeah, you got to get in the trenches with them, man.
Yeah, and you're doing that. So that's what I saw. And I told you, bro, I admire you, bro. You got your stuff on lock, bro. And I told you could blow that up. And you're a great leader and you're a great person. So I just wanted to make sure I brought that up. Yeah. Anything you want to add before I'm going to go into asking you random questions that have nothing to do with what we talked about. You want to add anything? Anything?
Love you, bro.
I love you too, brother. All right, I'm going to start asking you random questions. Favorite restaurant in Sac? You can't think about it too much, man. You just got to say it right away. Boom.
Favorite restaurant
anywhere in this area. It could be Auburn. I already know you're gonna say. It could be Roseville, Grass Valley, Elk Grove, Gall. It could be anywhere in the 916. 530. Let's go anywhere. Tell me favorite restaurant.
There's a little lunch truck, over off of
Cause look, this guy knows how to
Stockton
eat,
Boulevard. There's a little lunch truck over off of Stockton Boulevard, bro, next to an O'Reilly's AutoZone or O'Reilly's Auto Parts.
Oh, I know you're talking about 47th, and that is 47th and Martin Luther King.
Yeah, bro. those homies be getting down with the freaking
What do you get?
ceviche tacos, bro, and the freaking
Ceviche tacos.
yeah, bro. Like the fish. They just
Ceviche
they
tacos.
hook it
I don't
up,
think
man.
I've ever had ceviche tacos.
yeah, bro. They hook it up, man. They're from Nayarit. The people there are from Nayarit, man, and they freaking know how to cook up some good freaking fish tacos, ceviche tacos, bro, tostadas. I mean, it's like it's the bomb, bro.
Yeah.
Sacramento, that would be my go-to spot, man. That would be my go-to spot.
Tell me something about you that not that many people know.
Well, I think you've already said it. I have no social media.
How do you do it? What's the secret to being successful with no social media?
Hard work, man. You
Hard
reap
work.
what you sow. Applying biblical principles to life, and in business, right? You reap what you sow. Hard work. You work every day. You get up. You be a good steward. Be a good steward over what God's put in front of you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Make the most of every opportunity.
What would you name this episode if you can name it anything? Would you name it anything in particular? I was thinking about naming it God's Gangs and Religion.
God, gangs, and religion.
Because
Yeah.
it separates it.
Yeah.
It's God.
Yeah, I mean,
gangs,
I'd be right there,
religion.
I'd be right there. Something like, all glory to God, or maybe even doxa. We do something like doxa. Doxa is just another word for glory.
I didn't even heard
In
of that.
Greek.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't speak Greek, bro. Come on, say it in Spanish. So I was going to say, how can people stay in touch with you? So you don't got social media. How do we get in contact with Eric Andrade? They want to talk to you, connect with you.
Well, they can get a hold of you.
That's hilarious.
They can get a hold
All
of
right,
you.
brother. Well, thank you for coming through. We're about to end it.
Yeah.
Thank you again, and we out.